Hey, so how are you guys feeling today? Are you noticing this energy is different? It's like, I thought it was just going to like come in. I thought it was going to be like this, like just a wave that comes in and we feel the funkiness for a little while, but it's sticking around. It's here. And it's interesting because it's Spirit's just saying it's full of layers. It's not just like all density, like just everything is bad. It's like there's that density, and you don't really have, like, you can't just like be like, yeah, that's what it is. That's what I'm feeling. And then thankfully there's like this little kind of like ripple that comes through, and you like feel your connection and you feel grounded and you feel inspired. And then it's like the next minute that density comes in again, and you want to put your pajamas on and you want to curl back into bed. You want to find a comfortable blanket. You want to find a place where you can just relax. And then if you get the chance to do that, then you get into that relaxed state and you're like, I can't relax. Why do I not feel like I can relax? Why is my body not relaxing, right? Like, are you guys noticing that? It's interesting because in traditional Chinese medicine, there's a name, they call it the tired and wired. So it's like literally where you feel exhausted, and it often goes with adrenal fatigue, but you feel exhausted, but you can't relax. Like there's like, you just cannot find like that peace, like that, like, okay, I can. And usually the reason for that is the mind, right? It's usually the mind that takes, it sends the signal to the body follows the direction from the mind. So it's very interesting how I feel like there is something being sent to our mind right now. I don't know if it is some type of frequency, some type of, well, Spirit's saying yes, some type of wave, some type, like, but that's being done purposely. That's what I mean. Like, it's not just your average, yeah, we're getting the 5G, we're getting the, the solar flares, the Schumann spikes, we're getting the chemtrails, it's not that stuff. It's different. It feels different. And I get it that not everybody feels all of this, but I know that there's a lot of us who we do pick up on this. We do feel it, and we can feel like it's different. It's feeling different. There's something different, a different vibration, a different frequency that's coming through. And it's interesting because if you like go to the core of it, it can feel pretty complex. Like it does. Because it feels, it's questionable. Like you're like, well, why are you here? Why is this energy coming here? What's the purpose of it? And then it's like the answers are not crystal clear around that. So, we need to feel into that and see, what's the reason that we're feeling this stuff right now, and why is it doing what it's doing to us? I find that the dream state being disturbed as much as it is also, a big component to this. I think we're on, like, I know lots of you guys have issues sleeping most of the time, but I think we're on like day 3 in a row, like 3 solid days in a row where like we're getting those downloads at nighttime, which aren't our normal downloads. They feel very, very different. Like they're like whole body. And then they're like taking you into another dimension, and you're doing like this dark work in these other dimensions. Like it's very trippy. I don't drink or do drugs or anything, and I don't need to, obviously, because I've got enough of this trippy stuff happening without any kind of like psychedelics in the mix of it all. But I feel like we need to be really kind of cautious about this, like where our mind goes with it, so that we're not like following all of the breadcrumbs all over the place, so that we're in a big mind warp. I feel like we just kind of need to keep things simple right now. This is, You know, you have to trust your instincts, trust your higher self, your intuition, and follow the frequency that feels best for you, like what's giving you the most grounded, centered, peaceful feeling, right? This is really important. And of course, I didn't even realize this because this funky energy is coming through, but Mercury went into retrograde yesterday. And so that fully explains a bunch of stuff for me, but anyways, personally leading up to all this with communication, around communication, because when Mercury goes, the planet Mercury is our communication planet, and when it goes retrograde, it kind of scrambles all of the channels. So that means that any kind of conversation that we're having, any kind of transactions we're making, anything that like requires more than one person to bring things together, it's going to not go well. It's just not going to go well. I literally was finding myself being like, we just had this conversation yesterday and we said this, and now today you're saying that. Yeah, it's that kind of stuff, right? So now I understand. Now I understand why that the channels were getting all scrambled. And this is how it works. I learned how to hack Mercury in retrograde a long time ago. Once you have the awareness of it, you're like, okay, Mercury's in retrograde. It's the communication planet. So all the communication signals are going to be skewed. It's not a great time to have a heartfelt conversation with somebody. It's not a great time to lay all your cards on the table. It's not a great time to make any kind of like business plans or big decisions about things. It's not a good time to do that. And if you attempt to do any of it, go ahead, but have a nice lighthearted chuckle about it. That's what you need to do. So if you're trying to take care of anything right now, with your business, finances, relationships, any of that, if you're trying to do that and you're being met with tons of resistance, just do yourself a favor and pull back and be like, okay, this is not the timing for this. And it's not a very big cycle. It's literally I think it goes to the middle of December. And then of course there's the shadow phase, but it's not here you're in this for 6 months. It's just a little bit of time. Spirit's just saying for you to get perspective on things. And so remember, when things like that happen, it's opportunity. So if this is a pause for you in making any big decisions, having any major conversations, it's practice the pause right now. And so you'll find this is really interesting, that when you have this, let me know if this ever happened to you, where you have this thing and it's so urgent for you, and it's so there's an emotional charge with it, and it's this thing, and you've just got to talk to somebody or the person about this thing, right? We just, we need to talk. Years ago, I had a business partner, and he would always go, we need to talk. And it would just literally make my stomach feel sick. So just be mindful if you're doing that. If you're this is really important and I really need to get this off my chest and we need to talk about this. And be mindful if you're doing that it's not the time to do it. And this pause time is the time for you to take that inside and have that conversation with yourself and feel into it. Get the opportunity to change your perception on it, your perspective on it. Because Spirit's just saying in all ways. This is really, really important, because what will happen is once you realize that if you take it out of the conversation with the mind and you bring it into the heart and you let it have a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing space, you will notice that when you bring it back up to the surface, it's much smaller than it was when you originally thought this is urgent and I need to take care of this, right? Let me know if that happens to you, because right now that's going to be happening for a lot of people. Spirit's just saying there's going to be a lot of spiraling out of control. So just be mindful that you are not one of the ones that are spiraling. Just, as these big blimps of energy come in and we have this experience, just have the awareness right now that things are going to seem and be much larger than they actually are, right? So just, this is that space. It's like that void, that like open energy where we allow flow to come in. So if there's any like bits in your life right now that are feeling like yucky or stuck or like urgent, and this is like, put them back in the space. Give them some time to incubate a bit, because you might be surprised at how they come out different than how they went in. I feel like that's a lot of us are going to be processing through that in that way right now. So just, again, compassion, kindness, and have a sense of humor about it all, because honestly, you need to be like bringing some light into things that way, like light, laughter. Don't take it so seriously. Nothing's urgent, right? This is, nothing requires immediate attention. Just remind yourself about that right now, okay? Sending you guys huge blessings.